Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is Sports Video Games Vlogs and Randomness back with my final IP recap of the year. As a matter of fact, the name speaks for itself because this is actually a yearly recap of the all the autographs that I got throughout all year for all the baseball games that I went to. I'm going to be showing off specifically the cards, and the main reason is because I tend to buy cards for all the teams that I'm fans of, and even if they may play the opposing team, like some came from the opposing team that I'm not really fans of, but they used to play for teams that I currently like. So I did get a lot of those signed as well. I'm gonna tell you little by little how things went, but but I do want to apologize to everyone. I was supposed to go to one more game, but things didn't quite work out well, and there were a lot of personal issues that went on, so I had to stop it as it is, and just do the IP recap, the yearly IP recap, really for 2019. So I do apologize for that in advance, but but just a brief review of all the games that I went to. I went to two out of the four games of the whole series of the Toronto Blue Jays Chicago White Sox series. That series was a pretty good success for autographs. I went to one of the games at Wrigley. In fact, only one game I went to at Wrigley Field this year. It was at the Cardinals Cubs. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Just want to make sure that my phone doesn't have a blurry vision, so I'm going to be watching it. But like I said, Cardinals Cubs. And then I went to the full series of the Colorado Rockies Chicago Cubs at Coors Field. It was a 3-game series. After that, went to the next series, was the LA Dodgers Chicago Cubs series at Dodger Stadium. Um, and then after that, I went to two weekends after that. I went to the Minnesota Twins Chicago White Sox game. One out of the 3 games because it was on a Sunday, and those are usually the days that I'm available. Um, and then after that, my most favorite series out of all the games that I went to Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox series at Guaranteed Rate Field. Went to both games, which normally people wouldn't be able to afford that because it does get pretty expensive. I'm kind of smiling because I do feel very fortunate. And then finally, I went to just this past weekend. I went to the Houston Astros Chicago White Sox games. I kind of invited myself to those. In fact, there was only supposed to be one game that I went to, but because the first game got rained out, it turned out to be the doubleheader that I went to, which surprisingly kind of worked out well. So there we go. That's the brief. I guess you could say that's an overview of how things went. Now, as for the cards, there is actually a wide selection of cards that I did get signed, ranging from pretty easy players to get to really hard players. So it is a wide mix, and you'll kind of understand why why I got them the way I did. It kind of started off kind of slow, but but then I kind of got more autographs over time from the harder players. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the Blue Jays. Let's kind of get my cards out. Kind of get my cards ready, just so I'm aware. Okay, let me just make sure I got the right ones. Okay, here we go. So starting off with the Toronto Blue Jays games, nobody signed outside going in, but this is mainly for the people who haven't seen my regular IP recaps. This is just gonna be a quick show of all the cards that I got signed because there's a lot. I'm not gonna go through every little detail. If you wanna know all the details of how things went, just go back and watch my Blue Jays IP recap. Same for Cubs, Sox, and so forth. The only ones that I didn't really get was a Houston Astros Chicago White Sox recap, but I'll briefly explain because there wasn't that much going on. But here we go. First things first, got Joe Biagini. Did 2 of 2 for me. Really nice. This was the first game of the Toronto Blue Jays series, by the way. What the heck's going on with my camera? Okay, there we go. Just trying to get a nice view without having to make sure that it's blurry. Next up, Roddy Telez did 1 of 1, no problem. Next up, Danny Jansen, 2 of 2 for me. That was the end of the first day. I was supposed to, if I stayed down there long enough, I would have gotten Freddie Galvis, but I just missed him by like maybe 1 or 2 people. In fact, he signed for the guy next to me, but I just missed him. It's okay though. And then the second day, I started out, got Sam Gaviglio, did 1 of 1, the only card that I had. So after that, got Marcus Stroman, and then my top player that I was gonna go for the entire series, Randall Grichuk. And then at the end of the game, this is a prime example of a team that I like that's playing for a team that I really don't like. Got Wellington Castillo. Since I'm a Cub fan, decided to get a Cubs card of him, even though he's playing for the White Sox, and there we go. So that's it for the Blue Jays recap. Let me kind of put these off to the side so that way I'm trying to be consistent. That way you guys don't see a bunch of cards. Now there was only one card that I got signed for the Cardinals Cubs game, so I'll just show it off very quickly. Kyle Schwarber. He's kind of nice. In fact, he's been signing a lot this year, so I wasn't too surprised to get him. But at the same time, you just never really know. So there we go. And then there's a lot more autographs throughout the Rockies. In fact, I think the Rockies Cubs was the most cards that I got signed throughout all the series that I went to. Because I mean, it was all 3 games, but at the same time, the Rockies are a really good signing team. Got quite a few Cubs players too, but not as many Cubs as I did Rockies. But let's get started for that. Got 1 of 1. David Bodie. Super nice. And then afterwards, Antonio Senzatella. Actually, he'll sign much more than just 1. He'll sign 4, which is what I have. 4, no problem. Super awesome. Okay. And then next up, Jairo Diaz. Carlos Estevez. And then here comes one of the tougher ones that I never expected to get, Addison Russell. In fact, I never really saw him sign otherwise at any other point in any of the games that I went to, except for that one time. It was a special occasion. Next up, German Marquez did 4 of 4. And then that's it for the first game. Didn't get anybody inside, but that's okay. Second day, got Raimel Tapia, 1 of 1. After the game, David Bodie again. He's a strict 1 per, but I was able to get him on multiples, just on separate days. Next up, Brandon Kinsler, 1 of 1. Raimel Tapia, 1 of 1 after the game. And then, since Bodie was out with his family, he signed 1 more time, so I got him on 1 more card. I showed him 4 cards, but he's a strict 1 per, so he decided to choose this one because I guess he liked it the most. So that's the end of Game 2. And then start of Game 3, Raimel Tapia signed for me 1 more time. He didn't really seem like he wanted to because he knew that he signed for me. He was kind of a little upset, but he knew that I was just visiting, that I don't live in Denver, so I guess he decided to sign, make my day. Inside, 1 of 1 from Wade Davis, one of the guys that I wanted to get overall, so I was pretty happy to get him. Then I walked all the way to the Cubs side, got Kyle Ryan, did 1 of 1. And then that was that for pregame. And then I waited by the Rocky side where the players warmed up. This was a complete surprise to me. These guys are really hard to get. There were 2 autographs that I got, but 2 of the best ones, and I was very, very shocked and super happy. 1 of 1 from David Dahl. And then this guy was also signing, I was able to walk over to him with ease since the Cubs side was really crowded, but the Rockies side really wasn't. 1 of 1. Trevor Story. That's it for the Rockies IP recap. Let's put these off to the side too as well. Pretty eventful actually so far, and we're not even through with the rest of the cards yet. So I mean, you guys are really in for a special treat because if you think that getting Story and Dahl was amazing, just wait until you see the rest of these cards, and you could tell how excited I really am to get most of them, as I haven't gotten most of them already, but you'll understand. For the LA series, it was pretty tough graphing there, but I did the best I could. Got 1 of 1. Actually, the um you saw that it was Brandon Kinsler. I'll just put it down, but I got him on the third day. The first and second days weren't really eventful, but the third and last day, that's when I got the most autographs in that from that series. So that was the third day. The fourth day of the series, I got Brandon Kinsler again. This time he did my last 3 cards that I brought for him, no problem. And then also I got Kyle Ryan, but I'm not including him in this batch of cards only because of the fact that there's another person involved, and I'll explain. You'll see why in a bit. So the fourth game, I got Mike Montgomery to start things out with. He's one of the few guys that I really wanted. I was able to call him over. In fact, I was right next to him. He kind of hesitated for a little bit, but he came over and signed only because I call him, because he won't do that very much at all. So yeah, he's pretty nice though. I mean, if you call out, he'll sign. So cool. And then next up, Tyler Chatwood did 1 of 1, strict 1 per. And then the last game of the Dodgers series, I was hanging out by the bullpen to wait for the catcher for the Cubs to show up to see if he would sign, and he did. 1 of 1 from Wilson Contreras. And then that's it for the Dodgers series. That was pretty eventful. In fact, quality and quantity so far is probably what you're seeing. And then let's put these off to the side. I'll keep all these in the same stack because the Astros series, like I said, there wasn't very much action going on. So, but here's the only card that I got signed from the Twins and Sox was he used to play for a team that I really liked. So because now he's on the Twins, but used to play for the Astros. Got 1 of 1 from Marwin Gonzalez. He probably would have signed more if he didn't sign during pregame, but I'm happy with the one that I got. So that's it for that. Now here comes the Cubs White Sox series. I got 2 of 2 from John Jay. He'll sign whatever. In fact, he got dropped off so many times. Really no big deal. These are the only 2 that I got. And then this Cubs prospect got called up about a week prior to me going to the Cubs White Sox series. He got dropped off for a very short period of time, but I was able to get him on 1 of 1. Dylan Cease. He turned out to be pretty awesome, so I couldn't be happier. Now, these next few autographs, I was very happy to get them because for me personally, this was a once in a lifetime chance for me to get them, let alone all at once. And the first autograph that I got, I was very happy. I was just in the right place, right time to get him. In fact, I was the first one down there. Got 1 of 1 from Javier Baez. Super happy to get him. I don't think I'll ever have another chance to get him, and if I do, then that's awesome. But I'm really happy to get him no matter what. And then this guy pops up out of nowhere. Actually, in fact, since BP was over with, I was able to call him to sign because he said he would sign 1 more, and he did. 1 of 1 from Steve Cishek. And then there was already a mob scene as it was, but the autographs just kept pouring in, and I just kept getting more as it was, and the graphs just kept on getting tougher and tougher, but I still kept getting them. Like I said, a 1 of 1 from Albert Almora. Then afterwards, after BP was over with, got Theo Epstein, and then that was that for the dugout. The security people said that we had to go back to our seats, but I still waited down the line. And these last couple autographs that I got down the line for the day, the first game of the White Sox series, got one of one. Chris Bryant, super awesome. And then a little bit of time afterwards, I continued to wait. Got Jason Hayward too. And I thought that would have been it for day one, but I still waited afterwards, and then this White Sox player signed from his truck. Actually, I thought that he had a car. I think he has he has a really nice pickup truck. Got 2 of 2 from James McCann, and I'll explain as I show this off. There's there's the other James McCann autograph, but this is the one of Kyle Ryan, this autograph of Kyle Ryan that I got in Los Angeles after I got Kinsler. That's why I didn't show it off now, because this is a dual card of them. So yeah, pretty awesome. And then the very last autograph that I got during Cubs Sox was one of one from Jose Quintana. It was the last day. So that's that. I mean, this was super awesome. For the Astros White Sox series, or the doubleheader, I didn't go to the last game because I actually moved. But this was a pretty pleasant experience, and it was quite surprising for me to get this first guy. I got one of one. He's a strict one per. Well, actually one of two, because I showed him 2 cards. He said he would only sign one, and I chose one of the better cards. Got one of one. Alex Bregman. Oops. He's actually one of the more friendly not the White Sox, one of the more friendly Astros players that I got. And then and because of the fact that they had the netting down, I knew that it was going to be really hard to get autographs down the line, but I knew that it wasn't impossible, because I figured you might be able to slip a card through, and boy did it pay off. Because down the line I waited, and I just kept my composure. I was very patient. Got one of one from this cool Astro star, Carlos Correa. I was so happy that it was, and I was speechless. Just no words to describe it. And then no other autographs down the line. I was actually going for a Jose Altuve, just to kind of point that out there. Jordan Alvarez signed. I probably would have been able to get him, but I missed him because I was going for Altuve, because he's tougher. But hey, I can't complain, because I mean I got Correa. And then the very last couple of autographs that I got throughout the whole recap was 2 of 2. I've actually been wanting him for a while, since he got called up by the White Sox. He used to play for the Blue Jays. I have 2 of 2 from Ryan Goins. These were the only 2 that I had, and there we go. So that's it for the yearly IP recap. I really hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if it wasn't as informative. I was just trying to show off the cards without speaking very much of the games, especially if you've seen the regular IP recaps. I gave off a little more information of the Astros White Sox series, because you really didn't know very much about it. There wasn't much action for the Twins White Sox game that I went to, but overall, it was a success. And who knows what the future is going to hold for me going to baseball games. And yeah, we'll just see what happens from there. But until then, take care of yourselves, and have a great rest of your day. And if you want to leave a comment on the experiences that you guys had, feel free to just tell me. And I read every single comment that you guys post. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Have a nice day. Take care.